Hello guys, Softoni here and welcome back to my channel, and in this full guide I will show you how to create a modern and dynamic opener here in After Effects from start to finish. Whether you need something for YouTube, a promo or a slideshow, this design is fast, punchy and clean. No plugins required, just solid animation techniques. So hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's jump right in. Alright guys, here we are in After Effects, and as always let's first create new composition. You can hit here or hit on this little icon to create your final composition. Of course this is gonna be like usual final for the width and height full HD, frame rate 30 FPS, duration 7 seconds long. Hit OK, and now let's create background. Let's go right click, find here new solid layer. I will just rename this one to BG for background. You can pick whatever color you want. I will do black color, hit OK. Now let's go here inside the effects and presets. If you can find this option, go to window, you will find effects and presets here. Now I will type for the first effect fractal noise effect, this one, and just drag and drop on top of our background solid layer. Now let's make here further adjustments. For the fractal type, change from basic to turbulent smooth, and also I will crank this number up. For the complexity I will go to around 7. For the next effect, let's go here again and I will type emboss effect so we can get cool grungy background. Just drag and drop and leave this effect as it is. And for the final step I will also add Triton effect. Also drag and drop on top of our background solid layer. And for the midtones I will do black color. You can always go here inside the contrast or brightness to experiment what type of background do you want here. Now let's also go back and animate our evolution option. Hold Alt on your keyboard and then left mouse click on this stopwatch on evolution, and I will just type here expression time asterisk 100, and we're doing this because we want to make our background as an animation. And now when we hit 0 here inside final composition, you can see that our background is moving. Like I have already said, go here inside the fractal noise effect and you can play around with all of those options, but this is looking cool to me. Now I will close this effect control for this background solid layer and I will create text. Hit Ctrl+T on your keyboard or hit on this little icon, and I'm using this Montserrat font, maybe to go bold or black. And for the font size I will do 100, and also make sure to set the stroke to 2, and I will just type my random text, dynamic, and let's center it here inside the final composition. Go here on Align panel, center it here and here, and if you can find Align and Paragraph panels, just go Window and you will find Align and Paragraph here. Alright, and now let's also animate our text. Go inside this dynamic text, hit here on this little triangle, go on Animate, and for the first parameter let's find here Tracking. For the tracking amount, it depends on your text size. I will do to around maybe 30 or so, and this will be it for this animator one. Now let's go here again on this animate option, and I will find here fill color and then go here opacity. Let's lower down this fill color opacity to 0, and let's go here on add for this animator 2. Do not go here on add on this first animator, just second one. Find here and go to selector and find here wiggly. And now when we hit 0 we have this cool looking animation of our dynamic text, and let's make this text even better looking. Open up again this little triangle inside this wiggly selector, and you can here play around with modes and everything else. I will do instead of intersect, subtract, and for the wiggles per second instead of 2 I will go 1. Okay, now it's time to create also some movement for this dynamic text. Go here again on animate. Let's find here opacity, and as you can see we have already created this animator tree. And now here inside the animator tree, go here again on add and find property, and I will also find here position. Now let's for the position I will go down maybe to around 250 or so and lower down opacity to 0. And now we will animate offset parameter. Let's set up our playhead to around 0 frames, and let's create first keyframe. This is gonna be -100. Let's go to around 2 seconds or so, And for this offset second keyframe, I will go to 100. Now let's open up this advanced option and change here shape from square to ramp up. And for the ease high, I will do 50. Now let's select both of the keyframes and hit F9 on your keyboard, or just go right click, keyframe assistance, and find here easy ease. Now let's go here inside the graph editor, and if you can't find curve like this one, just go right click, you will find this option and select it, edit speed graph. Now I will just create curve like this one. Alright, and now let's hit 0 here inside the final composition, and our dynamic text animation is looking great. And now it's also time to add fourth animator. Go again here on this animate option, and I will find again tracking, go here at 0 seconds, and here for the tracking amount, here at 0 frames, set up the first keyframe, then let's go to around 4 or 5 seconds, and let's also crank this number up to around maybe 40 or 50, like so, and now let's hit 0 once again, and our dynamic text is looking cool. And so guys, as you have already seen, this is the cool technique, so you can easily create this dynamic text. Now let's also create second one. I will just hit on this dynamic text, Ctrl+D, or go edit and just duplicate this first text. This is gonna be second one. I'll just hit here random text, maybe do lowercase, Softoni motion, like so. And for the size, double click. Instead of 100, I will go to around 30. And instead of this Montserrat black, maybe to use Montserrat thin, like so. And you can use arrows on your keyboard, move this one down, somewhere around here. And now let's hit 0 here inside the final composition. And here is our first and second text. And for example, you can grab this second one, go to around 15 frames or so. Let's hit 0 once again, first and then second one. And you can also reposition your text wherever you want here inside the final composition. You are free to play around with everything as you wish. Now it's also time to create third text. I will hit again Ctrl+D and then hit somewhere around here in our final composition. Make sure to unselect everything. And for this third text, I will also type random text, Softoni motion. Let's rename second one to maybe opener. Okay, and for this third one, I will go here inside the character, and for the font size, let's try maybe 16 or so, and let's also go for the stroke from 2 to 0, okay, and I will use align option, align panel to center it and to align it horizontally to go somewhere around here, and as you can see, we have this third text. Now let's create background for this third text, but before that, let's hit here on our text, go here inside the effects and presets, I will type fill effect and make our text maybe black color. Hit OK. Now let's go right click to create new solid layer. This is gonna be text background, text BG. Also you can make it full HD, and then we will use mask to create smaller one. Hit OK. Select the solid layer, move this one above our Softoni motion text, and you can turn off visibility. Hit Q on your keyboard or go hit on this little icon, rectangle tool. Go and find here this Softoni motion text, maybe to just change the color so we can see our text, like so, and select this text background once again and use mask to create background for your own text. In my case, this is gonna be this size, and now you can turn on visibility for our background, and you can also change again color to maybe black color. Okay, now select this text background, also add fill effect, and change background to maybe white color, and then hit OK. Now let's go to fit up 100, and as you can see, now we have this type of look. And now you can also select Softoni motion and text background, move it down a bit, and you can leave it here as it is. Now let's hit 0 once again. We have first text, second one, and you can also animate this third text, but I will leave this one to you. Alright, now let's also create this scene even better looking, and for this first step, let's duplicate this background solid layer, hit Ctrl+D, I'll move this one above maybe, and let's hit also Q on our keyboard or go hold left mouse click and find here ellipse tool, and I will just hit Ctrl, Shift and Alt on my keyboard to create mask like this one. Okay, go inside here, Triton effect, and find maybe dark orange color, or you can also play around with your own colors. Hit OK, go here inside the mask, and for the mask feather I will go maybe to around 200 or so, it's up to you to play around with, and hit V on this background and move this to somewhere around here. Hit T for the opacity, I will go to around 20% or so, and as you can see now we have this small light on our left side. Now hit Ctrl+D for this background once again, move this maybe up. You can also hit S for scaling, scale it a bit if you need. You can also hit T, play around with the opacity, and so on. Now let's hit Ctrl+D once again and move this one down like so, and this is looking great. You can also rename all of this, and now let's go right click to create new adjustment layer. This is gonna be light sweep like so. Let's go here inside the effects and presets, and I will also find light sweep effect, drag and drop onto our adjustment layer, and here let's also make further adjustments. For the center I will type 4, and for this Y parameter let's go 80, and for the direction let's go to around maybe 60 or so, somewhere around here. And let's also animate width option, I will go instead of 50, 140. And for the sweep intensity you can play around with this option. I will also lower down this edge thickness to 0. And let's go here inside this light sweep adjustment layer, hit T for the opacity, or go hit on this little triangle, go on transform option and find here opacity. I'll go to around 15% or maybe 20, it's up to you. And now as you can see we have this cool looking light inside our final composition. Let's hit 0 once again. This is our first text, second one, here is our third text, and here are our lights. Alright guys, now it's time to create lines here inside the final composition. Close this effects control, and now let's find here this option, pen tool, or hit G on your keyboard. Make sure that our fill is set to none and our stroke is set to 5. Make sure also to unselect everything here inside the final composition. Unzoom it a bit, and also let's create a line from this upper right corner from here to here. And if you're not satisfied, just select the second point and move this one a bit, and also this one. Hit V on your keyboard and just move wherever you want, like so. And for this shape layer 1, let's rename it. This is gonna be center line, like so. Now let's select the center line, and for the blending modes let's change to overlay. If you can find blending modes, hit here toggle switches and modes, find here overlay. Now I will hit Ctrl+D once, and as you can see this is looking great. Now select both of the lines, hit Ctrl+D, move this one above, okay, and hit V on your keyboard and move this line to maybe somewhere around here. Let's also duplicate once again and move this one above, like so. Let's hit Ctrl+D once again, but before that, move this one above, hit Ctrl+D, and let's also fill up the composition with these cool looking lines. And let's do this once again, move this one above, hit Ctrl+D, and this one move all the way down to the lower right side. And as you can see, our first scene is looking great. You can also rename all of this. I will leave this one to you, and I will also speed up the process. You don't have to wait. This is gonna be center line, this is gonna be right line, this is gonna be left line, and so on. Now let's go and create even more decorations here inside the final composition, but before that I will also rename these background circles. This is gonna be light 1, and this is gonna be light 2, and third one of course light 3. And now let's also duplicate this third one. Hit Ctrl+D and move this one all the way up above this right line too, and this is gonna be Venetian blinds. Okay, now select here, hit F3 on your keyboard, show effects control, and let's delete every effect here inside this effects control. Okay, and for this new solid layer, go here inside the effects and presets, and I will add first fill effect, drag and drop, and change color to white color, hit OK. As you can see, we have already added before this mask feather. When you hit double M on your keyboard, you will see that mask feather is 254. Okay, now let's find here Venetian blinds effect, this one, also drag and drop onto our solid layer, and here for the transition completion I will do maybe 97, and for the direction let's try 60. And as you can see, we have this cool looking decoration inside our final composition. Also hit T on your keyboard to show opacity. You can also play around with opacity and everything else. This is gonna be Venetian blinds 1, hit Ctrl plus D, let's duplicate it once, move this one to the upper left side, somewhere around here. You can also go here, hit S for scaling, scale it down if you want, reposition a bit more, and you are also free to play around with all of those new solid layers. Hit Ctrl plus D once again, move this to the upper right side. You can also play around here with transition completion and everything else. Also width, and this looks awesome. You can also play around with blending modes, maybe to try overlay. Let's duplicate this one for a few times. Now we have this grungy look. And now let's hit 0 here inside this final composition and wait until this renders out in our comp. And this is looking really nice. Maybe to delete all of those overlay solid layers, hit Ctrl plus D once again, move this one above, and let's also just leave it as it is. Maybe just to go for the width to around 30, and this is looking great. Alright guys, for the next step let's also add another solid layer. Go right click to create new solid layer. This is gonna be lens flare, also full HD, and for the color make sure to select this black color, hit OK. But also to be sure that our effect will work properly, just go here inside the effects and presets, and let's first add fill effect, and also drag and drop, change color to pure black color. This is really important to be a black color, hit OK. Now let's find here lens flare effect, drag and drop onto this solid layer, and for the final step I will add Triton effect. And now let's just change blending modes from normal to add. We're doing this because only white parts here inside this layer will be visible here inside the final composition because of our add blending mode. Now let's also change midtones for this Triton effect, maybe to go this type of orange color, like so. You are also free to pick your own colors, and then just hit OK. And now I will also animate flare center here inside this new solid layer, set up our playhead to around 0 seconds, and for the flare center let's set up the first keyframe, maybe move this one left a bit. Okay, and now let's go to around 5 seconds or so, and you can use shift on your keyboard and move it a bit to the right side, somewhere around here. Let's hit 0 to see our preview animation, just wait until this renders out in our scene. And our dynamic opener is looking really great. And as you can see guys, this is gonna be our slide 01. For example, you can add here more effects. Let's try maybe starburst effect, find here new solid layer, and let's make this white color for this solid layer, hit OK, and I will find here starburst effect, just drag and drop onto our solid. I have forgotten to rename this one, starburst, OK. Go inside this effect and play around. For the scatter I will go to around maybe 400 or so. For the speed let's lower down to 0.4, and for the size you can experiment here, make it larger or smaller, it depends on you. Also for the grid spacing I will go to around maybe 2 or 3, like this. Now let's hit 0, and our grungy opener is looking great. You can also go here and try various different blending modes, but I will leave this one to you. Now let's hit 0 once again, and our dynamic opener is looking cool. Alright guys, now I will just hit T once again on this starburst effect, and the opacity let's go to around maybe 60 or 70%. Okay, now let's pre-compose everything, hit Ctrl plus A or select everything here inside final composition, go right click, pre-compose, and this is gonna be part 01 new comp. Hit OK, and now we have this new composition inside the final composition. And let's also go here in the effects and presets to create transition, and let's type here card wipe effect. This is really powerful effect here inside the After Effects. It gives us a bunch of different presets so we can play around with. Go here at 0 seconds, and for the transition completion I will do 100, okay, and set up the first keyframe here. Now let's go to around 1 second and maybe 20 frames or so, and for the completion I will hit 0. And as you can see, this is gonna be our animation. Hit U to show both keyframes. Select them, hit F9 on your keyboard, go inside the graph editor, and I will draw curve like this one. Let's hit 0 once again. Just wait until this renders out here inside the final composition. And here inside this card wipe effect, we can play around with a bunch of different settings. For the back layer, I will do none. You can also choose from which side our animation will start. And now when we hit 0, our animation starts from this right side all the way to the left side. You can change it here, also X and Y parameters. Something like this. It's looking cool. Now we will also create here background, just not to see this gray looking tone inside this final comp. Go right click, find here new solid layer, this is gonna be BG. And for the width and height, also 9020 by 1080 full HD. Set the color to black color, hit OK, and move this below this part of one composition. And now we have something like this. As I have already said, go inside this card wipe effect and play around with a bunch of different settings, so I will leave this one to you. Now it's also time to create this scene even better looking. Let's create another solid layer, and this is gonna be again Venetian blinds, like so, also full HD. Hit OK, go here inside the effects and presets, and I will type fill effect, OK. And also let's find here Venetian blinds effect, this one, drag and drop. And for the completion, I will do 60%. Direction, let's also go to 60. And for the width, I will type 600. Okay. And for the color, I will change to maybe this orange color. And I will just hit OK. Let's also change blending modes from normal to overlay. And as you can see, our scene is looking stunning. And you can also animate this Venetian blinds effect. You can simply add here offset effect and animate this cool looking orange color. Alright guys, now we will create more adjustment layers to make this scene even better looking. Let's go right click to create new adjustment layer, and this is gonna be invert. And let's go here inside the effects and presets again, find invert effect, drag and drop onto our adjustment layer, make this invert adjustment layer smaller, and you can simply doing this by just dragging to the left and to the right side, okay, or you can just hit Ctrl Shift plus D and delete the rest, okay, and make this even smaller, hit Ctrl plus D once again, and reposition here inside the scene. And also inside this invert effect, you can play around with a bunch of different options, play around, maybe HLS for this first. And let's also create another adjustment layer, go here again and find it, and this is gonna be motion tile effect, move this one above, okay. And for this motion tile effect, let's go here inside effects and presets, find motion tile, drag and drop, and let's also change few settings inside this motion tile effect. For the output width and height, I will do 300, okay. Now let's also add transform effect, transform here inside the effects and presets, this one, drag and drop, and lower down the scale parameter to around 35. And let's also do the same as we have done with our invert adjustment layer. Select it, move to the left side. I'll just hit Ctrl Shift plus D and delete the rest. Now let's hit 0. And our dynamic animation is looking awesome. I will hit Ctrl plus D once again. Maybe make this smaller. You can also play around here inside motion tile effect. Hit here, for example, mirror edges, you will get this type of look. Let's hit Ctrl plus D for this motion tile once again, move this one to around 4 seconds, and let's hit 0 in our finals. Our fast intro is looking cool. You are also free to add more effects here, it's up to you. Let's try maybe something else. For this part of one, hit Ctrl plus D once, make this also smaller, maybe somewhere around here, like so. And let's, for this new layer, you can also change layer colors, go right click and find here whatever color you want, maybe to do green or so. And for this new part of one, go here inside effects and presets, find shift channels to make kinda glitchy look with this effect. And let's also change few settings. And for this first option, we will leave it to red. For this second one, full off. And let's also take blue from, let's also go full off. And for the blending modes, let's change here to screen. Now hit S for scaling, I will do 102, something like this. Let's duplicate this part of one once, hit Ctrl plus D, let's go full off. And for this green, let's change also and find green. Hit S, this is gonna be 104. And let's also duplicate this once again. And let's go full off, and just for the blue, find here blue. And now when we hit 0, we will have this cool looking dynamic opener here inside the final composition. And also guys, one thing I want to show that I have forgotten earlier, go inside this part 01 and select this dynamic text, and also let's create texture on our dynamic text. And I will just duplicate this background solid layer, hit Ctrl+D, and move this one above our dynamic text. Now I will rename it, this is gonna be just matte, okay? And here for the track matte, instead of none, find Luma inverted option. And here inside this matte solid layer, select it here or hit F3 to show effect control, and you can basically play around with emboss effect. And as you can see, our dynamic text now has cool textures. You can also play around here with contrast inside the fractal noise effect, brightness, and everything else. And also play around here with the contrast inside the emboss effect until you're satisfied with your own final results. Now I will hit 0 to see the preview, and I will just wait until this renders out here inside part 01 composition. And now as you can see here inside part 01 composition, this dynamic text has its own texture. Now let's go back here in the final comp, and our intro is looking great. Alright people, this was the cool technique so you can easily create your dynamic and fast opener, and you can easily create even more slides here just inside the project window, create part 2 and drag and drop inside the final composition so you can create even more slides and just experiment here with bunch of different settings. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button and also consider to subscribe if you haven't already. Also take a look at my channel for even more great tutorials. And also if you want to use graphics and graphic packs like me, just check the link down below in the description. And also you can drop a comment down below in the comments section. And until next time, stay creative and bye bye.